Okay, we're reconvening back to an open session. It is now 7:52. Announcements of items of actions taken in closed session. There were no items. There were no actions taken in closed session. G, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. Janet, do we have anything like that?
We do have two public comments that are for item K1. So we want to wait till that item comes up?
Yeah, okay, let's wait until
Okay.
K1. Thank you, Janet. Okay. Item H, presentations. H1, food service program.
So this one, Mr. Calderon, we are requesting that these three presentations be tabled to a later time. We have Mr. Vega who is with us, but virtually, and so there's a request in order to have these moved to the next board meeting.
Thank you. If it's okay with the board to table these items? Okay.
I
No,
think we
this-
should be fine, as long
No,
as the
this
board
is,
is.
this is not an action item, so. Okay, I, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Mr. Romero and a second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item J, information items. J1, superintendent's report.
So good evening, trustees, admin team, and community watching via live stream. First of all, congratulations and welcome to Ms. Margarita Magallanes on her election to the school board. And also congratulations to Mr. Enrique Alvarado on his re-election. We're very excited to continue to work with Mr. Alvarado and now Ms. Magallanes in accomplishing new goals for our students, staff, parents, and the community in the Calexico Unified School District. Even though we face incredible challenges due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are confident that we will overcome them by working together. We are now on our 16th week of school, and we continue to successfully navigate and implement our distance learning plan. We continue to follow our learning continuity and attendance plan, which was approved by the school board on September 22nd. We're very proud of the services our wonderful staff continues to provide to our students, parents, and community. And we thank our parents and community for their patience as we continue to provide a quality education to our students during this unprecedented time. We are currently in stage 1 of the new reopening plan put out by the California Department of Public Health. We continue to monitor the latest information closely and work with our local health agencies and our partners to ensure that we are doing what is in the best health interest for our entire community. As of today, we are in the purple stage with a COVID-19 positivity rate of 38.48%. At our last board meeting in November, specifically November the 12th, I reported that our positivity rate was at 18.55%, and during our October 8th board meeting, I reported that our positivity rate was 9.4%. As you can see, our positivity rates have increased significantly. As a reminder, to move to the red stage, one of the metrics is to be under 8% on our COVID-19 positivity rate. In regards to reopening and bringing students back on a hybrid model, we need to be in the red stage. Based on the current reports, moving to the red stage anytime soon is unlikely, as the positivity rate continues to surge. After December, we will carefully reassess our COVID-19 rates along with our local health agencies and stakeholders and determine when we can safely transition into a hybrid model. We will continue to provide educational services via distance learning until it is deemed safe for our school sites to reopen. We thank everyone for their continued patience and flexibility. Lastly, there will be no classes between December 21st through January 1st due to the Christmas break. School will resume on Monday, January 4th, and we wish everyone a restful and safe Christmas break. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. J2, Measure B facilities update.
Was there a public comment on J1? No?
J2, who's doing J2?
We do have John Dominguez coming up,
Okay.
and he's going to be pulled into Zoom in.
We only see Alvarado. So those big stacks on the high school parking lot, are those the walls for the new building?
Those are the buildings, just like in the,
So are those the walls or?
right, those are the actual walls that'll be put in. Mhm.
Yeah.
Once the foundation is laid out,
Yeah.
just like we did for the 16 classroom, then they're just put together, kind of like a jigsaw,
Yeah,
and then the building starts taking shape after that point.
that's nice,
Mhm.
that's nice.
Is that all the 12 classrooms there now, or they're gonna do some more?
I didn't count if there's 12. Mr. Vega, do you know if there's 12 there already?
Yeah, there's still more coming, Mr. Calderon. There's still more coming that will be placed over at Donning Field. So there's still quite a bit, like 20 or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that seems a little bit.
Start at the bottom, the first
Yeah.
one.
Mr. Vega, what was it? Yesterday I passed by and there's a portion of the fence that's missing. There where that new, buildings are gonna be set up. Has that been covered up or it has not?
Portion of the building, are you talking about the 12
No,
classroom
there-
building where
Yeah,
it's
where
gonna
the
be,
12,
Connie?
where the 12 classroom building is, being set at, there's a portion of
Uh-huh.
that fence that's missing. It's probably a
Okay.
good like 10 feet. That's been it's been like that open for, I wanna say, for about 3 days now.
Mm.
I didn't pass by today to check, but I know, I passed by when I first got notified. And today I checked, or yesterday I checked, and it was still missing.
Okay, let me check on that.
Any luck with, Mr. Dominguez?
Mr. Dominguez will be here providing a facilities update via Zoom. Maybe we can ask him right then and there, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna get replaced. I'll
Okay.
double check though.
I don't see him anywhere.
Can we come back to that item, Mr.
Well,
Calderon?
we're gonna, jump from J2 to J3. And then we'll come back to J2, J3, insurance committee, our, insurance committee and ROP committee, is that how it's supposed to be? Or did we miss J4 being ROP committee?
I'll go ahead and report for our IVROP.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everyone. Just a quick report, what's going on now is the Strong Workforce Grant. The first round was $713,000 that Calexico Unified School District received for health and public sources. That money has already arrived here in the district and that is ready to be used, and some of it has already been used. Round two, $416,000 has been approved for our district, which is for CTE, and ag programs. So all that money should be used in these areas to enhance the CTEs that we have. And then just last week, round 3 was approved. And that is, I think, they're looking at another $400,000 for Calexico. And that'll be for Imperial Valley CTE career development and also for technical training. And to report for our IVROP, they continue to collaborate with our staff. They've been Zooming with them and actually giving our students options of for careers, and hopefully we can get them underway once this COVID issue is settled. So with that, they continue to work with our staff, and hopefully we'll go back to normal soon. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Insurance Committee?
Yes, we've not met, this school year at all.
Hmm.
We have a meeting scheduled for January 26th. We will be further along in negotiations, where there will be a topic of interest from both.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sherman. Accounts, that was J3. J4, accounts payable pre-list. Does anybody have a question about that?
No questions.
Mr. Calderon?
No, there were some payouts there, but I believe they were dated the 2nd of November, so hopefully we're not dealing with the HVAC situation anymore, correct?
We're not using HVAC, Articare, we're not using anybody.
Okay,
So
'cause there is some-
Whatever it is that needs to be done, it's either done in-house or, if you told us to stop using that company, we have stopped.
All right, okay, that's all I have then.
And Mr. Vega, for the record, we did not tell you to stop using that company. What the message that we wanted to convey was to do things the right way and put out for the best bidder on these services.
They did.
That was
No,
no,
what I-
but he said that
No,
that
what I understood was to stop using that company
we-
until we get,
yes,
go out to bid.
yes.
So we did instruct them to
Yes.
stop using the company.
Oh yeah, but it sounded like we told them not to use the company. That was half of the.
Well, we
No,
did.
we don't have a contract,
Yeah,
that's why we
Yeah.
stopped.
But
until we have a
unt-
contract.
But until we get this thing, we get the RFP
Yeah,
RFP out.
yeah, it's out to bid, so,
Yeah.
when
Yes.
does it close, Mr. Gonzalez?
Mr. Vega, the closure
So
for
we-
the RFP?
Yeah, we are advertising, this is the last week that we are advertising.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Magallanes, any questions on?
No questions.
No questions, thank you. No sign of Mr. Mr. Oh,
Hopefully he'll come back later.
okay. J5, board reports. These are informational reports made by board members. No action is taken by this board on those on any of those comments. Ms. Magallanes, this is your time
You
to
know,
talk.
I'll go first, and then she
Okay.
can see what we
Yes.
do, and then that way.
That works. Thank
Okay,
you.
All right.
thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr.
I'll step
Calderon.
up then.
Yes,
All right.
go
All
ahead.
right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Again, Lorenzo Calderon here serving you. First of all, Ms. Magallanes, congratulations. Mr. Alvarado, congratulations. I look forward to working with both of you. Hopefully, we can continue our strive for the positive, and I just look forward to this. Also, Richard, thank you. Thank you for your service of this past year. You have been an example for us. Your knowledge, your leadership is something to be envy of. I think you bring a lot to the table, especially your experience and your transparency. And for that, my hat's off to you, Richard. Thank you
I'm-
very much for-
I'm humbled by your comments.
Yeah. Again, thank you to ACT, CSCA, our administration for their hard work during these times. I mean, we still got people out there working hard every day in spite of this pandemic. And you know what? My hat's off to you. Stay safe. Hopefully with this vaccination, we can go back to normal. And for our students, keep the faith and the hope. We are probably going to go back to normal soon. So hopefully we can get this under control. Like Mr. Gonzalez was saying, we're in a stage that we can't make any moves right now, but we're constantly looking to see when we're ready so we can make a decision and go back to normal operation. So again, thank you. Keep the faith, and see you next year, actually.
Ms. Magallanes?
First of all, I would like to thank you, and I'm really looking forward to working together as a team, moving the district forward, and making everything smooth for this next coming year. And a thank you for everyone for giving me a great introduction, a small convenient ceremony. And I'm really, really looking forward to working together and, like I said, to move the district forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Magallanes. Mr. Alvarado?
Thank you. Ms. Magallanes, congratulations once again. I look forward to working with you also as well, with the board and making the district move forward as you stated. Richard, I just want to say thank you so much also as well. We accomplished a lot under your leadership, and it's true what was mentioned before. It is going to be a hard hat to fill, but you know what? I think we could go ahead and make everything work. As long as we continue to work together, we'll make things happen here in the district. Other than that, on the same note as my colleague stated right now, Mr. Calderon, thank you to ACT, CSEA, all the staff that continue to work for us also as well. They are out there doing what's needed for our district, and I just want to go ahead and say thank you very much for everything that you're doing. It's not going on deaf ears. We are seeing, everything going out right now. To our students as well, keep up the faith, as Mr. Calderon stated. It's not easy. It's something that's hard, but as long as we continue on this path and we're here for the safety, not only our students, but our staff, I know that we'll come up, and make sure that everything gets taken care of. Other than that, I just want to say to everybody, be safe out there. Have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and look forward to next year also as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. Mr. Romero?
Thank you. First, I want to congratulate Ms. Magallanes and Mr. Alvarado. Welcome on board, Kiki. We know the strong work and experience that you bring, so welcome back. And I want to thank all the parents, the students, the teachers, the CSEA. We're going through uncharted waters, and we will get over this. Just be patient, and thank you for everything. And I want to thank my fellow colleagues here, who we accomplished a lot, and you guys are one of the best teams I've ever seen, and I want to thank you for that. That's
Thank
all.
you, Mr. Romero. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, congratulations to both Ms. Magallanes, Mr. Alvarado, on Mr. Alvarado being reelected and Ms. Magallanes to having won one of the seats on this board. As I have said before, with great power comes even a greater responsibility. Sitting on these chairs is not easy, as you guys will understand. And this goes for everybody. We have a job to do. We are responsible for how Calexico Unified is managed. And I'm not saying that we need to micromanage, but I'm saying we set the vision, we set the pace of how things are going. It's our responsibility to make sure that all of our assets are accounted for, and that we are in the right mindset to make sure that we make the right decisions to lead this district forward. We are double, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times the size of any other district. We have an ADA. We have come close to having an ADA of 10,000 when other districts don't even get to 1,000. So we have a huge responsibility when we sit on these chairs. As we have said before, sitting on these chairs doesn't mean that you have individual power, but the responsibility of being a board member is a hat that you wear 24/7. We need to be conscious of that. We need to make sure that we always think of our students first before making any decision on this board. I am pretty sure that this board will make the right decisions. I am pretty sure that I am going to be able to complete the job that Mr. Romero started when he took over last year as board president. And as I said before, it is hard to fill such shoes of the work that he did, but it needs to get done, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to accomplish that. Okay, so we need to make sure that we put our kids, our staff, in the values of this district first before anything else when we are sitting on these chairs. I invite anybody to talk to us. I invite all people in Calexico, or as they call Calexicans, to come and talk to us. Nobody can tell you no. Nobody can tell you no. You need to follow protocol because we are elected officials. If you have a concern, if you have a doubt, if you have a question, come and talk to us, and we will talk to you. Now, as an individual board member, we cannot take decisions on our own because the only decisions that we can take is when we meet and we are the five of us together right here. But you will be heard. And I promise you that talking to us is not going to get you in trouble. There's not going to be any reprisals from anybody on this district. And that's a promise that I'm making to you right now. With that said, I invite everybody on this board to do what we were elected to do, to move forward and make sure that the Calexico name is taken higher than what we have done or what we have accomplished up to this point. Thank you to all of our teachers, staff, classified and certificated, from top, Mr. Gonzalez, to the day one janitor or secretary, because they're doing the job that probably other people could not do. They're putting their lives, they're risking their lives, they're risking their well-being to make sure that our kids are safe, that are educated, and they are being taken care of. And for that, we, the five of us, we need to make sure that they're taken care of. I have great trust in the people that work for Calexico Unified. They will do the right thing and make sure that those kids, those staff members are taken care of. And I just hope that with the times that we're facing, I just hope that we realize that doing the right thing doesn't have to be paying $1 million somewhere or giving big contracts to people, but it's rather the smallest things. Thank you. And with the break coming up, I want to wish everybody a safe Christmas and happy holidays. Thank you. Did he come back?
Is Mr. John Dominguez there?
No? Yes?
Yes, we have Mr. Dominguez. He's joining the virtual conference.
Okay.
Okay, there it is.
So at this point, board, we're gonna go back to J2, Measure B facilities update. Mr. Dominguez, are you there? Okay.
He's on mute.
Mr. Dominguez, you're on mute. If you could please unmute your microphone. Thank you.
Can you unmute him, Eddie?
Yeah, he did.
There we go. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me okay?
Now we can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Good evening, board members. My name is John Dominguez. I'm your project manager. I have Kim Desert here with me also for your bond projects and a few other projects that we've been working on. I'm gonna let Kim do the update tonight. Kim, you wanna start?
She's
Can
on
I-
mute.
Ms. Desert, you're on mute. Could you please unmute your microphone? Thank you.
Eddie, unmute her. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the A2 and A3 project. And the A2 is the 16 classroom modular. A2, the elevator was inspected by the state. It passed the mechanical operational inspection. So the license to operate the elevator, it has to be placed inside, It has to be mailed from the state, and it can take up to 2 weeks, so we're still waiting on that. And once we receive it, it'll be attached to the interior, and it will be compliant with the state. Now, the district is going to need to look for a company that they can contract with that does their monthly services and inspections. That's part of having an elevator. So SSI, which is Full Site Solutions, we will work with the MOT office to put out an RFP for proposals for that, and then we'll bring it back to the board. As of Friday, December 11th, that was last Friday, about approximately 75% of the punch list items for building A2 have been completed. Now, moving on to building A3, the foundations are being completed right now. There's gonna be 38 floors to be delivered, and some of them are gonna sit in the teacher's parking lot, and the overflow of those buildings will be placed in no-name field. That's why they were leveling it, so they could put the buildings there. So the crane is scheduled to be here on December 29th, which is 4 days after Christmas. And we would just like to say thank you to your MOT department for removing the road partitions, those things that stuck up in the street. They did that so that the delivery would come with no glitches this time. So the 3-week look ahead is a punch list completion. They'll continue to complete foundations, and the crane will be here on December 29th. So going on to Oakview with Circle Drive, the Circle Drive punch list was held on Monday, December 14th. Construction access panels are being installed, new fencing and gates are being painted, and no name field has been cleared for the equipment laydown. So the project is 95% complete. I heard someone ask a question earlier about some fencing. Can you elaborate on what fencing you're talking about?
Yeah, Ms. Desert, that was me, Mr. Alvarado. It was a sorry about that. It was a fence where the new A3 buildings are gonna be at. There's a section of it, it's probably about 10 feet of it. I sent the picture over to Cesar and to Mr. Gonzalez right now as soon as I mentioned that. So you could see there's a good portion of it that's missing. It was left like that. I got a call from one of the residents that live in the area. So I passed by and I looked at it, and they said it was like that for about 3 days.
Is it the chain link fence?
I
to the
believe,
north?
yes, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like the new fencing. It looks like a chain
Okay.
link.
They took that down because when the crane sits there, it needs to have access to be turning, and so that's the radius for the crane. That's why that fencing was taken down,
Oh, okay.
okay? So it'll be fixed after everything is craned into place.
But there was no crane there or anything at all. Shouldn't there be a fence
No,
up?
Your crane costs about $2,000 a day, so it won't arrive till we're ready to put them in place.
All right.
But they said the crane won't be here till the 29th.
But the security's been advised of it and stuff like that, correct? About that missing fence, because when I passed by, you got access to the whole district walking in and stuff like that with that part missing.
Well, it's the south fence of the teacher's parking lot, correct?
Cesar, you got the picture. It's right where the new A3 building's gonna be at. That's that little section that's missing there. It's right next to the new fence, the new parking lot, Circle Drive fence area. It's that missing part there.
But
Oh, I know
think
what it is.
it's
I'll
secure.
forward it to you. It's right where the exit of New Circle Drive ends and the Encino Drive begins. Let me send it to you.
Okay. Because the teacher's parking lot still has their north fence and they have a locked gate on the west.
Yeah, that's correct. That's there.
So the campus isn't really open. You seem like
Unless there's a reason why there's a fence.
If I may,
Anyway.
Kim, if I may for a second, I believe that fencing, that area there, let me see what Caesar sent. Yeah, I think, that area right there is to allow for the vehicles, for the construction vehicles to get in and out of that area. So there's not enough room on the other side where the fire lane is, so they have to come in through there. That's why they removed that little section right there, and that's gonna be put back. That's a construction vehicle, entrance and exit.
Yeah, correct, Mr. Dominguez, but over the weekend, it was left, open.
Can we put some temporary fencing?
Yeah, we'll put temporary fencing there. Yep, there
Yeah.
should, yep, absolutely. We'll take care of it tomorrow.
And I'll let the security company know. I'm pretty sure they know. They go through it every
Yeah.
single day. So, but I'll remind them.
I'm surprised there's nothing there now. We'll get it worked out. We'll make sure that gets taken care of tomorrow.
Okay, we're gonna move
Okay.
right along
Thank you.
to, the district office modular project. The foundations are completed. All the building and foundation welding has been inspected, and that's completed. The interior, look ahead is the interior office electrical and framing. Some of those are being modified for whatever's going in there. I think, Mr. Price, the special ed director, he needed some special walls in his office. So the modular bathroom from EMS will be arriving, I think, later this week, correct, John?
The bathroom for the, from AMS is arriving tomorrow morning.
Okay,
It'll be set tomorrow, right?
all right, and
Well-
then,
Ms.
also in that project was the district office bathrooms, and the partitions have arrived. Everything is pretty much done in that bathroom. The reason it's not 100% complete is it was district requests for the different partitions that set them back. Is that correct, John?
Yes, that is correct. There were a couple of items. The district partitions were a long lead item because they were special fabrication, and the fixtures as well. And so as a result, it caused extra time in the project. The contractor was in there today finishing it up. Should be wrapped up, I imagine, by tomorrow or the next day.
Okay. Godfrey Jam Project, it is, pretty much complete and ready for a punch list walk. Pixabytes is still in there putting the audio visual, but that was not a part of the contractor's work. The Pixabytes was something the district hired on its own. The door security should be finished tomorrow. And on December 15th, which is tomorrow, they will be doing the punch list. Now, the gym equipment is not gonna arrive till the middle of January. And I think you had a question about the HVAC. Those bids will be coming in. They are due by January 5th at 2:00 PM. And I wanted to add something about the master plan. It's 70% completed on the graphics. The bond passed and was certified by the county elections department, so we can move forward with the inclusion of that in the master plan. And we are in the process of working on the district's, eligibility with the state for new construction. Does anybody have any questions?
Desert, Lorenzo Calderon. For the record, when are the trailers gonna be completed? The trailers that we're installing here, the DO trailers?
Ones that they moved from the high school over to the district office?
Yes.
Yes.
The 7 trailers. Or,
Okay.
Until February.
It's some date in February. I will, send that to Mr. Gonzalez and he can send it out to you, the exact date.
okay, and you mentioned that there was walls being built in there. Is there like a change order on that, and how much is it gonna cost us?
No, it was in the allowance, that was built into the project. They're not expensive walls, but his office has to have locked rooms with all the, special ed files from the IEPs.
Oh, yes,
They have to be where they're not accessible to anybody, so he used to have a door with a lock on it.
yeah.
So there was no change order?
Correct.
I mean, all right, okay. And you said these district office restrooms are gonna be done in 2 days,
They'll be done this week.
this week? Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon.
Mr. Alvarado? Ms. Magallanes? Okay. Mr. Dominguez, Ms. Desert, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a great night. Have a great Christmas.
You
Thank
do, thank
you.
you.
You too, thank you, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Sure.
Christmas.
Thank you.
So, that was J2, Measure V Facilities Update. Okay, we continue with our agenda. Item K, items for discussion. K1, walkway, walkway or pickup setup for Dual Elementary School. I believe there's two public comments, Janet, or one, I don't know.
I believe one stayed, which was Annalisa Pacheco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll put her up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're promoting Ms. Annalisa Pacheco. Ms. Pacheco, you should be able to unmute your microphone and you should be able to speak. And if you wish to, you can use your camera. It's not required, but.
There we go. Oh, she went back.
Okay, can you see me now?
We can see you and we can hear you, Ms. Pacheco. Thank
Okay.
you.
I wasn't planning on speaking, but, I guess, well, everything happens for a reason. Yes, I'm the English language intervention teacher at Dual Elementary, and, I see a lot of problems with, not having a drop-off at our school site. First of all, we have the traffic from the high school and De Anza, it's congested traffic, and it's very dangerous for the parents and the students when they drop them off. And also, it's very much needed, very much needed. And we have to think of safety for the students. Plus, it also alleviates the existing problems that we have in many of the schools of parents parking illegally, making U-turns, and the drivers that pass beyond the speed limit, and it would alleviate all of those problems. And dropping them off at that area, it would be a lot safer, it would be organized, and to be honest, students come first. We have to think of their safety. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Pacheco. We appreciate your comments. Is that it, Janet?
It is. I'll go ahead and read the second public comment from Myra Hernandez. And her comment was for the walkway for Dual, and she says Dual needs to be safer with an additional access for students and parents. That was all her comment.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. So we had some comments about K1, walkway pickup setup for Dual Elementary School. I am the one that brought this subject back for discussion because Dual Elementary is the only school that doesn't have a real pickup area for students. Blanche Charles has one, Mains Elementary has one, Rockwood has one, KG's has one, Jefferson has one, and Maine has one. So even the junior highs have a pickup area. Yeah, I said Jefferson too. Even the junior highs, they both have one. Even the high school now is going to have a pickup area, except with the exception of Dual Elementary. Now, at this point, I'm asking the board to consider giving direction to Carlos to either build in the back of Dual, on Dual Avenue, build a pickup area for students, or just creating a walkway from the back, from the front to the back. There will be out of cement for students to be taken from the front to the back so they could be safely picked up at the back of Dual Elementary on Dual Avenue. In the past, we had talked about that, and it had been a little bit of this. There had been a little bit of discussion because it would hinder our budget. But I honestly believe that we shouldn't put a price on the safety of our students. Encinas Avenue, it's really crowded. The time that the kids are leaving, it's almost the time that also the high school will be leaving, that the answer will be leaving. It's always been a problem. Knock on wood, we haven't had a major accident. However, I would like to prevent that. So I would like this board to consider, we don't have to decide right now, but I would like this board to consider and give direction to Carlos to look into building either a walkway or a pickup area in the back of Dual.
Just along the same sentiments, I'm okay with that, giving some type of direction to Carlos to at least get like a quote or something, Carlos. As far as that goes, this was something that was mentioned by some of the parents there from Dual School also as well. I guess this was something that was brought back. I think I mentioned it a couple months back in regards to that also as well. And this is something that is needed, and it's something for the safety of our students also as well. It is something, especially right now during the time of COVID, I've seen when they were picking up their meals and stuff like that, it was also, some, I wouldn't say major issues, but there was some issues where, having a direct, access for student pickup, drop off, and even during this time, just, for them to pick up their meals would be a little bit more accessible going that way. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
May I ask a question, or no, not yet?
Well, I have a comment. I mean, you're right in the sense where every elementary school has a pickup area, all on but Dual. But what I'd like to see, I mean, because I'm picturing the behind of Dual, there's actually big water valves right behind the school. So what we need is a plan or someone to tell us. I mean, we've knocked so many lines lately, electrical lines, because we just start digging and really don't see what's going on. So I like to see a plan to study it, to see if it's even feasible, because we don't want to go there. I mean, obviously we're going to have to get it approved by everybody. I mean, you know how constructions go in with the state and so forth. So a study, because first of all, there's a lot of lines there, water lines, big, lines. So before we do anything, and I agree we need a pickup, but we need to study it first and see how much it's going to cost us.
Or even coming back, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no, go ahead.
Even coming back, even seeing that there's any possible way to use that roadway in between the library and Dual School also as well. There's that
Oh,
roadway
yeah,
also
yeah.
as well that's accessible. That's something that we could probably even take a look into also as well. That may be even more feasible. But if we
Well-
could just look into it for the time being.
Well, I'll tell you what, we managed to close the one by the pool. We
Correct.
actually, during lunch, they closed it. Remember, they had these barriers. So maybe discussing it with the city, maybe Kiki's right. It's a quick fix and just make that street during pickups a priority for parents and so forth.
The only thing about that is that I've been told that because there's no major streets crisscrossing that street, you cannot put a crossing guard, a crossing lane to cross the street.
No.
And so let's say that, for example, you're right. God only knows what's underneath the grass behind Dual. The other option is also just creating putting a cement slab all the way in the back, so people can pick up the little ones in the back. So something like that. I'm not saying that we need to decide right now, but I'm saying let's look into it. Let's see what is best for our kids' safety. That's my point.
Yeah.
Ms. Magallanes?
Well, if we study it and make a study of it, I think
And-
Carlos can come up with a plan and see what works best for that school.
Let's hear from Caesar. I think he wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just get more information. I think it would be best if Mr. Calderon can show me exactly where you think it's more feasible for that walkway or driveway, because it can go, I mean, it can go in many different directions. We may need DSA approval, we may have to get an architect, and we may have to look at, you know, like Mr. Calderon said, the irrigation lines and all the utilities. So, but I think it's best if you can, to show me exactly where you envision that driveway to be, if it's possible.
In the back of Dual, almost getting to, what is it?
Community
The
center?
community center, there's folding doors. There's two big wide doors.
Okay.
We could use that, and then from there to the main patio in the front, or in the middle of school, the main portion of the school, we could also make it just a walkway for students to take, to be picked up at the end of school. I mean, those are just ideas, but that door is already there. The fence is already, it's ready to be opened up to, for students to be picked up.
Okay.
So we already have,
Thank you, Mr. Calderon.
yeah. So we already have that door in the back of Dual.
And Mr. Calderon, if we're talking about safety, it has to actually be an indentation where the vehicles actually go in to school grounds. Otherwise, if they're picking up on the street, they still put the kids at risk, because they can start running and they'll get hit by someone that's going by Dual
Yeah.
street. So
Well, I understand.
They need some indentation.
I understand that, but right now, the way that they're doing it is, they're just picking up students, like that in the front of Dual.
Well, I'm concerned, because I think probably would put the district at risk, because we're actually opening something that could be, or hold us liable because a kid ran and got hit or something.
Is
So
it-
I think a plan, and I agree with what you're saying, plan and hope, I mean, the kids aren't in school right now. I think we give them a date, hey, get a plan going, and
That's my thing, what the
and
kids are
even
not.
if it's feasible, we don't know. I mean, the state might not approve it or whatever. I know that Kennedy Gardens has one in the back, but there's really not much traffic behind the industrial park. They have a pickup in the back. I mean, I know that for sure,
But for Dual, there's nothing else.
I know, I understand that.
Well, Dual
But-
School's one of the older schools, so therefore,
Yeah.
I think just, staff should come up with a conceptual plan if
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
And then, of course, once you get a plan, see what it's gonna cost and see if it's feasible.
Well, yeah, we have money. So fortunately, we can afford to spend some dollars when it comes to the student safety.
And when I'm talking about, Mr. Calderon, and that's a good plan. I mean, I agree with you 110% about, but that gives Carlos enough time to research, to make sure that there's no liabilities on us if we were to go to just to the sidewalk and so
Mhm.
forth, and then bring options to us, and then decide as a board.
Yeah. Well, Carlos and company, you guys can work on that and see what is it that you can come up with, and what are the barriers of doing, the different, options that you may have.
Right, and I think we want to always make sure that we're looking at the safety of our students. So I think this is a good idea, but it has to be done right.
Yes.
We don't want to open ourselves to any potential liability by just putting a walkway there and a gate.
Mhm.
I think we want to study it well and look at what are going to be some of the recommendations from the agencies that we work with.
Mhm, yeah.
Look at, is this going to be a project that is going to need DSA approval? Are we gonna have to work with the city? I'm not sure with Caltrans, but we're talking traffic. But I think we need to look at all those. But that's something we can definitely look into and get an idea as far as maybe an estimate of cost. I don't think it would be right down exactly, but I think we can get an idea of what we're looking at least to bring it back to the
Yeah.
board for a continued discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. Ms.
Mr.
Magallanes?
Gonzalez, so in order for us to come up with a cost estimate, I need to, first get an underground survey inspector to take a look at what's underneath on the ground. And also, we may have to get an architect to come and help us design something around what the underground survey report said. But just want to put it out there so that you know.
See, maybe the pickup on Dual is not feasible, but it might be feasible on the north side, where he was talking about, what Kiki was talking about. So that's why you need to do a plan, because, like I said, there's a lot of water lines there. I know for a fact that there's shut-off valves and everything there, so it's gonna take a plan to get
Yeah,
something.
and I think what we can do, and we've done this in the past before, where there's been studies that we've done, and we bring them back to the board, and we say, well, we need to go out to contract with this company or this agency, whatever, in order for them to be able to give us a better idea of what it's gonna take to build what we're looking for, and look at all those logistics, right, that we're talking about right now. But I think we have an idea of what the board wants. We just need to come back with an actual series of steps of how we get there. And that could be, like Mr. Vega mentions, we may need to go out to contract, potentially with an architect or with an outside contractor just to get a true estimate on what it's gonna take to get it done.
Who's older, Du or Jeff or Rockwood?
Dual.
Du? You know what? I don't want to. Carlos, thank you. Get on this. I mean, not right now, of course, but there's people are asking for this.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't really care about votes. I don't really care about if people reelect me or not. I'm not for reelection, but I'm here for the safety of the students. So that's what I care about. Okay. Ms.
Well,
Magallanes, do you have, hold on, Ms. Magallanes, do you have anything to say on this?
I think that setting up a drive-through for dual is something that is in need. Something to prepare different scenarios, different construction sites, and looking at everything, and also feasible as right.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Magallanes.
My only question, or comment here is that, I see that all of us agree with getting something going. My question is to Carlos, if you can't give us a date as to when you can get back to us, at least keep us informed that, we're looking into it or whatever, just give us updates for our records. Say, hey, we're looking into the dual
Mhm.
project and we've done this so far. I mean, monthly or whatever you wanna do.
Absolutely. We'll bring back the board updates and let you know what we need, what support we need from you in order to make sure that we give you
That way we know and the public knows
Yep.
where we're at with that project.
Right. Sounds good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. K2, new fine arts class at Calexico High School. I'm the one that also put this on the agenda. I was approached by parents of students at the high school, and I'm just gonna say it, I'm just gonna say it. They're not happy that students are being put in classes like PE or other classes where they don't really need it, just because there's not enough electives at the high school. Okay. The reason that I chose fine arts is because most of the fine arts class, unlike other electives, the reason that I chose fine arts is because it's an A2G requirement, whether it is art, ceramics, advanced art, it is already a certified A2G elective. So students will be, as they say, will be killing two birds with one stone. Number one, they would be in a class where they're engaged. And number two, if they decide to go to college, they can use that class as part of the A2G requirements. And number three, is also part of fulfills one of the requirements for graduation. So this is the only reason why I chose the fine arts instead of another elective. So I know that we have a lot of overages at the high school at this point. Not necessarily in electives, but a total of in the general population of students, we have a lot of overages. So that's what I would like for us to consider, or for you to come up with an idea to see if it's feasible to create another position of fine arts at the high school level to overcome the number of overages that we are facing.
One thing you need to consider is the budgetary impact, okay? We cannot just, here we are facing a fiscal deficit. We have a structural deficit, not a structural deficit. And we need to take that into consideration. We cannot just arbitrarily say, I want a new class. There's a lot of things we need. But what is that we can afford at this point in time without having to impact personnel? So we got to be cognizant of that.
Oh, thank you, Richard. I understand that. But I really feel that we need to provide students what they need in order to be successful in school. We just spoke about what is happening with our students. They're losing interest. They're not engaging in school. They're not engaging the way they're supposed to be engaged. And that's because, I'm not saying that it's because of us. That's not what I'm saying. COVID is happening, and that's beyond our powers. But if we can find a way to engage students and at the same time, give them a benefit, give them a little push because it is an F2G class to go to college, why not do it?
But you've seen the budget. You've seen the impact on the budget. You should be extremely aware of what the impact would be. I mean, here we talked about, okay, in the future, if we continue with our structural deficit, what is the impact going to be how are you going to take care of that? Are you going to cut employees, cut programs? It's something we got to be very careful when we discuss these kind of issues and bring up, let's add another class.
Well, they can find a way. They
Find a way by cutting somebody else?
They found a way to spend over $1 million in Arctic Care. So let them find a way to pay for this.
The Arctic Air issue was we have 4 whatever employees, of which 3 were out. So would you prefer that we not take care of the AC issues with our students?
Well, I think with the new construction on Measure Q, that's something that is going to be coming up pretty soon, correct, Carlos? With the steam buildings and all that?
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. And that's going to be 2 buildings, correct? 2 steam buildings. So there should be something that's going to have to be, addressed as far as that goes. I know right now at the time it's not the best, time to discuss it, but I know with the new plans coming up in the near future, that's something that we could go ahead and start discussing with a little bit more input from you guys, as far as that goes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Mr. Calderon mentioned some good points. The need, we definitely want to make sure that we address the needs of all of our students, right? And the other factor that we need to look into, which we've done in the past, when we look at a master schedule as a whole, we look at what are the needs, just no different as we ask students, what are the electives that you're interested in having? What are some of the interests that you have? Which is very important because we want to make sure that we meet those needs. The other thing that we look at obviously is FTEs, right? If we create an FTE, usually what it means is there's an interest to not to remove a course that might not be of interest to students, but we create a new one. No different than if you remember a few years ago with the ROTC program, if you recall.
Yeah.
There was this great interest and push for this program. Well, naturally what we had to do is we had to eliminate other courses. So in this case, it's no different. And I completely agree if there's a need. If I hear you say that there's overages that we need to look into, then that would be something that we would work with Ed Services. And if there is a need in regards to the fine arts, particularly whatever it may be, right? Because you mentioned it falls under the umbrella of different things. We have no objection to making sure that there is a balance, that there's a balance between the needs of what the students have and also between the needs of the district in regards to FTE positions as well. So I think we can look into it, absolutely, work with the high school and along with Ed Services and look at the master schedules and just sit down and go over it and make recommendations to the board at that point.
Yeah. Thank you, Carlos. And just listen to your principals. Listen to your principals. Just hear them out. Just hear them out because they are the ones that have they are the ones that are on the ground 24/7. So, yeah, that's it. Anybody else?
Maybe a pilot program to start, if that's possible. And then we can go ahead, and know if it works, if it's helping the students. And then we can go from there.
Yeah, and these classes are proven to work. They keep students engaged, and there's a lot that can be done with fine arts. I'm not saying just an art class, no. There's a lot of classes that make up the fine arts division. So that's all I'm saying. But again, that's not our, and I'm gonna say it, that's not our job, right here. That's your job, to see what is needed and what is not. So, just come back to us, Carlos, with that after the break. I know we have a lot of things to consider, but just come back to us after the break.
Sounds good.
Okay, go ahead.
I think all of you are correct in a sense that we do need to do something about it. But I mean, Richard mentioned something which is very valid. You mentioned, I mean, I've known this overages from PE for many, many years now. I had kids that went to the high school, and I know that they wanted to do something else. Kiki, we got our measure coming. That's going to be a big building. We're going to need teachers. I mean, we're going to have to bring staff regardless, I mean, to fill those new classrooms that we're going to build. And Ms. Magallanes, I mean, look at the one-to-one. We started as a pilot program, and look at where it's at now. We're ahead of every school district here in Imperial County. Why? Because we had a vision, and as a board, we completed it, and now look where we're at. Whether it's COVID, it was a slam dunk because we were ready.
Yeah.
We had already seen our vision, and when it hit, we were ready to roll. So, and thanks to everybody that had a lot to do with this. Just time's on your side right now with this COVID, so I hate to drop things on you, but yeah, maybe a study. See what, I mean, you go back to the master schedule, we have to look at it before we do anything else. I mean, numbers matter. And we just want to make the right thing. I mean, I don't want to sit here and cut teachers out because we can't make the budget. So I'll be the first one to say, hey, if we go there, we need to be right if we're going to do something and not regret it. So again, all of you are right, and it's a vision. Let's look into it and let's see what brings.
I'd like to make a motion at this time to extend the meeting for at least another hour till 10 o'clock.
There's a motion on the
Second.
floor. Second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Vote is 5-0, unanimous vote. Thank you. So, Mr. Calderon, yes, I agree with you, and we have to put everything in a balance. And I do understand numbers on both sides. However, let's remember what we're here for. Let's remember what we're here for. Okay? Let's just remember what we're here for. K3, kindergarten place area swing set at
Kindergarten.
Rockwood.
Oh,
No,
Rockwood?
Rockwood. I have visited Rockwood many times. The kindergarten play area has 3 swing sets. And they have how many classrooms in the kindergarten area? 4? Just about, yes, 4 trailers. Right? 4 trailers.
Sounds right.
2, and then 2 of the 2 classrooms over here where we build the restrooms, right?
Mhm.
So it's a 5 or 4?
The kindergarten?
Yeah?
The kindergarten area?
Yes.
I think there was like 3.
Well, we have the trailers,
Correct. There's a trailer, and there was 2 side by side.
and then we have the 2 classrooms on their side, where we build the new bathrooms. Right?
Elisa, are you there in regards to the number
Bring
of
out-
classrooms at
bring
Rockwood
out the
for
booth.
kinder?
What school are you talking about?
Bring out the
Rockwood
booth.
Elementary
Rockwood.
School?
Rockwood does have, some swing sets, in the kinder area. The school that I know that has, very little to no equipment is Kennedy Gardens kinder area.
Okay. Elisa, how many kindergarten classrooms at Rockwood? 4?
They have about 4.
Yeah. So,
Most schools have anywhere between, 2 and 4, with the exception of Cesar Chavez that usually tends to have about 5 or 6.
yeah. So, again, and I know I keep talking about money, and I know money doesn't grow on trees. I know that. But if we're gonna do something for the students, I mean, we have to do things for the students at all levels, not just at the high school. So, Elisa, you also say that KG doesn't have any swing sets?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
few things. What happened is that a lot of the schools had the old,
They were-
I don't know, is it iron
They
or
were yellow
metal, structures, and with time, the rust and the corrosion, they have to be removed, and they were not replaced. One of the projects that my Randall did, a few years ago was the playground, but it was done for the upper grades, and I know that our plan, second phase, or our future plans was then to start doing something for all the kinder areas. And then after she left and with budget and everything, weren't able to do it, but I know that, Cesar, we had discussions about, looking into funding because this, we cannot use LCAP for it, so it's gotta be, general fund, so I know, Cesar, I don't know if you wanna share something about what are some of the plans, in long term that we have to be able to furnish, equipment for our lower grades.
Yeah, Elisa, and board, look, one of the issues that we have here in Calexico is that, some of these playgrounds, they're so old that, we pretty much need to overhaul every single playground in the district. And obviously that represents a financial, investment to it. We do have 3% of our total expenditures every year, that we have to spend on the upkeep and maintenance of our facilities, and playgrounds is one of the areas that we can address. However, the money that we have there is not, substantial or enough that we can replace every single one of them. So we have to have a plan. We have to, do maybe one school every year, 2 if possible, depending on, how much money we have. But, the needs are so great. So, I am planning to repair one side, maybe 2 if it's there, before the end of the fiscal year. That's, my goal is. But again, to do everything, I seriously need a lot of money, to do every single playground at every single school. So the question's gonna come up as to who gets done, or what, who gets done. So,
Well, Cesar, I wasn't asking to do all the schools at once. I just brought up, in this case, one school.
Yeah,
So-
but you
Yeah,
can't
okay.
be prejudiced toward one. You gotta pick all of them and see what the need is, and then somehow decide.
No. I'm not saying just to do one school. I didn't finish. So I didn't say to just do one school or to do all schools. I said Jefferson, I said Rockwood, but I like Cesar's plan. If they're saying, well, we can do a school a year, that's fine. I know Maine's has a lot of swing sets. I've seen them myself. So if you're doing that, well, start with one school. Then at this point, I don't want to be prejudiced as to what school they do first. I don't really care. What I care is that things get done and that our kids get the in this case, the swing sets that they need. The only reason that I brought up Kennedy and not Kennedy Gardens, but Rockwood is because they've been I've been to that school many times, and one of the main complaints at that school is that there's hardly any swing sets for the number of kindergarten students that they have. So,
Well, we should start by looking all these, swing sets. Cause I guarantee you that some of them were yellow tagged because of the Williams.
Oh.
Williams, visit, so we might start there first. And then make an assessment to see what's the need. We did it with the shades and the water fountains, remember that?
Yep.
That we didn't do them all at once, but we had a plan to get, so many shades per school and everything, and now they're implemented, they're there. Same thing with the water fountains. They all have cool water, because I would say 100% didn't have cold water, and now we have it. So, again, Carlos, this is another thing that you guys need to make an assessment. I mean, where do we start? I know Dual had a couple of monkey bars that should have been taken out, and they're still there. So you might want to go back to the Williams inspections and see what needs to be removed.
You know what,
to
at
start
this
with.
point, I am more concerned about those, swing sets that, got a yellow tag.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
telling you, that we need someone to go in there and see what we need to remove and where the deficit is. I mean, we're gonna remove some that were yellow, then that's the school we start with first. But that, again, it comes with a plan,
Yeah.
how much it's gonna cost and.
Well, first
What they
things
need.
first, we need to look at those yellow tag, swing sets, because they need to go down.
I mean, I know for a fact that, Kennedy Garden just has a pole and has no swing sets. They
Mm.
took the swings out because they were yellow tagged, but they left the poles. So these are the things that they need to get with every administrator and make an assessment of what the need is.
So we can do that, that's not an issue. I mean, we do the Williams visits every year, so we have an idea of what the needs are. In regards to the areas that you say are yellow tech, I mean, if we need to take those down, those are not an issue, we can take those down.
Mhm.
And then start looking, as Mr. Vega mentions, in regards to what is it that we can afford, because all of this would come from the general budget, if I'm not mistaken, right, Mr. Vega? So that would have an impact. But like everything that we've done, even with the, the signs and the boards at all the different schools, sometimes it takes time, but as long as we have a plan, and like you mentioned, Mr. Calderon, even with the shade and with the coolers, we can eventually get to where we want to, as long as there's a plan that we get there with what we can get done on a yearly basis. It could be one, it could be two. That's something we have to look at, but we can definitely put something like that together.
Yeah, I think that by starting with the yellow tags, because that creates a danger for our students. So I think that's just my opinion. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, and then after that, coming up with a plan, but first, looking at all those yellow tags, in those swing sets. Is that okay with the board?
Okay.
Thank you. So I'm putting here my notes, Mr. Gonzalez, to take a look at those. Thank you.
Just one more, comment here. Can you guys check to see where we got the funds for, the shades and the water, cool water coolants?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, please. Because I think the shades were from LCAP. They were from the LCAP, yeah. But just check to see where we got the funds, por favor.
Yeah, we can check.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry, what did you guys ask? We can't, it's hard to hear.
The shades, where we got the funds for the shades for all the
Okay,
schools?
So shades, and water fountain coolers came from the LCAP.
Okay,
Because those are things that are above and beyond what is required of a school. But playgrounds is a requirement, that's why that is base funding, and we cannot use LCAP.
okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, item L, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. This is where we vote yea or nay on each item named here. L1, approval of the 2020-2021 first interim report for fiscal year.
We have a presentation for this. Eduardo, if you're there, can you give Maribel Paz, the presentation on? All right, Maribel, before you start, just, thank you, board, again, for the opportunity of presenting to you the first interim report. Maribel Paz, will assist me this time to present our report to you. This is the first, actual report on our performance for the current year, and it's required by law. It's required by law not to present it on December 16 or this year. So, for, Magallanes, welcome to the board, something that you will see every year. So, you know, good information. And we are, gauging the performance of the current fiscal year to October 31st. After today, then we're going to, you know, working on the second interim report, but that is due after March. So, again, thank you for the opportunity, board, and, my letter, go ahead and take it from there.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Mr. Gonzalez, and everyone joining us tonight. Can we go to the next slide? So, Mr. Alvarado explained, I'm going to start off by briefly explaining the budget process. There are at least 5 times per year that local LEAs must submit financial reporting using the California Department of Education, CDE, Standardized Accountable Structure, which is our SACS form. And these reports are actually due to the County Office of Education, who in turn submits to the states for review. So this is so sometime in June, our local education agencies adopt an original July 1st budget, and most of the time, the numbers that are used to build the original budget model are based off the governor's revise. After this, the next step is the first interim financial report that I'm presenting tonight, that covers the actual revenues and expenditures from July 1st to October 31st, as well as it gives the district an opportunity to make an adjustment to the budget. Then after that, we have our second interim, again, which is our revenues and expenditures from July 1st to January 31st. After that, we also have our estimated actuals, and these are actually part of the adopted budget. We actually have 2 financial reports to present at the same time. And then at the end of the budget process, we have unaudited actuals, which is the closing of our books. And for compliance purposes, an independent firm audits the district's closing transactions and reports any findings to the state. Any questions so far?
No.
Next slide, please. So this is a list of assumptions and planning factors used to develop the district's current budget, as well as the 2 subsequent multi-year projections for 2021-22 and 2022-23 years. As you can see from our list, there are many factors to consider when building up a budget model. One of the most important factors to consider right now, and this is something that I know a lot of districts are facing, is enrollment. We are declining enrollment. And even though 1920 already passed, I just included 1920 information just for us to actually do a comparison analysis of how we did last year, 1920. So as you can see, we're starting 2021 with a decline in enrollment of 242 students. So this is pretty much, it will be around an estimated 88 by the end of April. We're gonna have that report. That's our period 2 attendance report that includes all of our absentees presented. And it is calculated to be around 8,512. So that is gonna be a decline on our ADAs. It's a very important factor to analyze and to monitor, as this actually represents around 1.6 million decrease in revenue. So, and as you can see the list, there are so many things. We have another very important factor is your cost of living adjustment, COLA, which is 0%. We're out of black special ed funded, program or transportation or, routine, restricted maintenance, all of those, programs, are increasing every year. So our contribution from the general fund to the restricted, resources are actually increasing every year. So as you can see, actually, pretty much, as a summary, we are facing flat funding and, but, actually all of our, ongoing expenditures continue to increase. So this is information that is gonna be very important right now when I explain our multi-year projection, as these are our key assumptions that were, used to build our NY. Next slide, please. So, this is actually, the general fund total projected revenues and expenditures as of first interim. As you can see on the third column, we actually have our total revenues for, as of, first interim budget to be 146,359,101. And this actually changed, our revenues increased, from last board approved budget, which it was September 10, doing our unaudited actuals. We actually have an increase in revenues due to, or, basically the majority of the major changes was our title monies increase that actually, for original budget and unaudited actuals, we actually used preliminary allocation. It's not until October when we actually, received the final, or preliminary allocations for, 2021. So this, actually, the increase, for federal revenues increased to, 455,000. And also, as, Trustee Calderon was mentioning, the district actually got awarded a strong workforce local grant round 2. And so this is also a reflection of our revenue. So we have a pretty much, an increase in revenues, from the last board approved budget to first interim. Now we go, actually down to our expenditures. As you can see, we are, projecting additional savings, and this is, actually to the freezing of some positions that, actually, leadership in the district has proactively started to freeze some of these positions. A lot of positions have been placed on hold, a lot of positions have not been replaced, and this is to proactively actually, work on just mitigating our deficit spending for outgoing years. So this is actually, the savings, some of the savings that we have for certificate and classified, salaries. And we also have, other changes due to the change in revenue or increase in revenue. We actually have an increase in expenditure. And this is because there is actually a combination of savings, but there also a combination of the grant that, the district is receiving. So it's actually the total expenditures increase of, $152,229. So actually, our first interim looks, a little better than our last board approved budget. And I can say right now that it's usually, the one-time fundings that I'm gonna be explaining, shortly. This had a lot to do with their, revenues over expenditure being, actually positive 1,249,769. So if we look at our ending fund balance for 2021, our new ending fund balance, it actually increased, about 250,137. So we went from a percentage of 18.43% to an 18.49%. Does anyone have, any questions? Next slide. So this is pretty much our first interim projected revenue. So this is, actually all the different sources of revenues in a percentage, kind of a pie chart. And as you can see, the local control funding formula, LCFF, is 70% of our district's total projected revenue. And for this reason, there's actually a table that explains how our, calculation grade span, adjustment, funding or supplemental and concentration, funding. As you can see, our ADA and funding is actually based on grade levels. We also have our supplemental, funding that we receive, 20% of every student that is either free and reduced lunch, English learner, or foster year, we receive 20% of an increase for supplements. And then our concentration money actually comes from, because our district UPP, which is the duplicated pupil count, is at 91.70%. We do qualify to receive concentration as we're over the 55%. Any questions? Next slide. And this is actually just a chart over expenditures. This is in percentage, all of our expenditures. As you can see, the majority of our expenditures are actually for our salaries and benefits. And this year, what I noticed, our percentage, it is a little low than other years. We're at 72%. And the reason is, again, the impact on the federal learning loss mitigation funding that we're receiving, that actually impacted our whole revenue budget for this year. So this number looks low this year, but starting next year, if we don't receive any additional learning loss mitigation funding, this number is actually going to increase. Any questions? Next slide, please. So we have our, just to give you, additional information, we have the 2021 one-time revenues in the following table. And pretty much, funds will be used for one-time expenditures to help mitigate the health and financial impact of COVID-19 in 2021. This 2021 learning continuity and attend, actually the details of expenditures for all these one-time fundings, you can find it in the learning continuity and attendance fund LCP. So as you can see, we have received around 77% over this one-time money. We have received close to $12 million for one-time revenues. And the rest is actually projected to be received sometime in March and April. Any questions?
On these funds, this is Mr. Calderon. On these funds, these one-time revenues, and less than 50 words, what is it exactly that we can spend it on?
To spend it on, well, pretty much in all of our learning distance activities that we're doing. A lot, the majority, I can say that is all our technology equipment that we're purchasing.
Okay.
We're also doing, I believe we went to the board, 2 board meetings prior to this one. Our board link antenna project is also gonna be funded from our ESSER funds. So pretty much a lot of the main is for technology.
Okay.
We're using all of this funding. But again, if you need to mostly look into all the information for this one-time thing, there is our LCP plan that was adopted. When was it? I believe it was sometime in August, that you can refer to. Any additional questions?
Well, so, just a comment, and this is for the board. It's great that we got one-time money this year, but it's also for us, for the business department, for fiscal, for Maribel, for Fabiola, myself. This has been a tremendous amount of work. It has been exhausting. We have spent weekends, we have spent overnights, just to meet the fiscal deadlines of this fund that are so regulated, so heavily audited. It has been extremely exhausting for my staff, for us to handle this. But we do it because not only our job, but we do it because it does benefit our kids. And it's great that we got this money, but the bigger the budget, the more headaches we get, because more things that we need to purchase, more things that we need to recover, more billing, more budgeting. I just want to put it out there that it has been a tremendous amount of, sleepless nights. And I can tell you, my rep can tell you, we have been working on this interim report for weeks. Sundays, Saturdays, holidays, Friday nights, Thursday nights, o'clock in the morning, but at the end of the day, we're making it happen for you board and for the community. And thank you, Maribel, for the wonderful work on this. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Next slide, please. So now we actually continue with our multi-year projections, as this is a very, very critical part of our first interim report. This is our MYP, how our numbers look based on the key assumptions that I just described at the beginning of the presentation. As you can see, for 2021, our total projected revenues would be the 146,259,101. For 2021-22, it actually drops to $125 million to 118,574. And then for 22-23, our revenue is projected to be the same amount. And just as further information, I actually included the local control funding formula, how they're calculating this revenue numbers for outgoing years. And this is actually based on a flat funding zero COLA percentage, keeping in mind that we're using the same ADA. So this for 21, 22, 23 might even be less once we actually get more information from our governor in the during January release budget. So we might need to make adjustment during the second interim. Please keep this in mind. Next slide, please. Now we actually go into our expenditures. Our projected expenditures for this year, as I just described, is the 145,123,805. Then for our 21-22 year, we're actually projecting our expenditures to be 129,816,705. And then for our 22-23 fiscal year, we're projecting our expenditures to be 132,239,173. Next slide, please. So now basically this is the ending fund balance for our three current year and two subsequent years. And we actually see, as you can see, our fund balance is decreasing as we are projecting deficit spending for our 21-22 and 22-23 fiscal year. NYPs do reflect all of the key assumptions, the most updated information from our state and Department of Education. We're not projecting a deficit spending during this year due to the coronavirus relief one-time funds. However, the district will be facing a significant structural deficit for the two subsequent years due to flat funding, as I explained earlier, and ongoing expenditures. Any questions here? Next slide. So our cash deferrals. During difficult financial times, the state implements cash deferrals, which are changes in law that delay the statutory schedule over principal apportionment. So starting February, as you can see the table, starting February of 2021, or principal apportionment, 50% of our principal apportionment will be deferred to November of 2021. And then for March, April, and May, we actually, our principal allocation will be deferred. Almost 90% of the allocation will be actually deferred to 2021. And the last month, or June, we're actually facing 100% of our principal allocation to be actually deferred to July of 2021. So as you can see, we're really facing cash flow challenges ahead of us. So as part, to mitigate and resolve this issue, the district is anticipating a tax revenue anticipation note trend in May of 2021 for the total of $50 million.
Hence, the solution that you're about to approve a little bit later.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions? Next slide, please. So, despite of the legislative analyst office, LAO, announcement of dramatic improvement of revenue estimated over the June budget. The district still faces many challenges ahead of us. We do have a devastating impact to the economy due to COVID-19. We face structural deficits for 2 outgoing years. We have a flat funding of cost of living adjustment of 0%. Our workers' compensation rate increases every year, along with our health insurance pension rates. We're currently declining enrollment, and we're pending negotiations. And our contributions to our unrestricted resources as special education, transportation, actually increase every year as well. So as a closing note, because the district maintains sufficient reserves, we are presenting a positive certification. However, if projected deficit spending continues at this pace, the district will be potentially unable to meet its financial obligations in the near future. So it is extremely important that the district continues making every effort to reduce or eliminate deficit spending. Any questions?
No.
If I can add, the board, every financial report, like I said, it goes through an approval process, and, my best take as well, it goes to the county. So the county, verifies all the data that we put together, all the financial reports we put together, and they verify it, and they send it over to, Sacramento, then it goes to the audit. Now, the audit is when you, the board, and the district really analyzes how we, in the business department, have performed in managing our resources. So as you know, I don't really want to hang in a little bit in terms of what, we just closed 1920. And, kudos to my developer team. We do spend a lot of weekends working, we do spend a lot of time investing in everything that we do. But for a reason. We want to make sure that everything that we do in this department is not accurate. There's a wealth of knowledge in this department, a wealth of knowledge that you, as the board, should be proud of. And as a result, we haven't had any financial findings. There's one finding that will be brought forward to the board, but it has nothing to do with our financials. It's our compliance in the department. That audit will be presented to you next month, hopefully, if the auditor can find time to come and present it. But I just wanted to, share with you that my bed, our staff, are doing a tremendous amount of work that, yes, it requires, an investment of time for us to get it right. But at the end of the day, you have financial reports that are accurate, that you can easily verify with the county or the state. And, I think we are like one of the best districts in the valley. So, thank you.
Mr. Vega, I just want to say, thank you, Maribel, Mr. Vega, and your staff for preparing this report for us. Thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Cesar Maribel. Excellent report. Very easy to read and digest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Romero.
So stand by, Maribel, because there are questions for the next item.
Okay, I move that we approve item number 1, L1.
I'll second.
There's a motion on the floor to approve L1, and there's a second. So okay. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. L2, 2020-21 Local Control Funding Formula Budget Overview for Parents.
So this is in line, budget-wise, we're required to have the board adopt this. We have a deadline of December 15th, so that's why we bring it to the board for approval.
Okay, I move that we approve item L2.
I'll second that.
There's a motion on the floor and a second. Motion by Romero, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. L3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and QOVO Solutions Incorporated for the installation of security surveillance cameras at the New Circle Drive and No Name Field.
I motion to approve, I do have a question on this.
And I'll second that.
My question is, who's gonna be able to see these cameras? How are they gonna monitor the cameras? Where are they gonna do this?
Eduardo, can you speak to that?
I couldn't hear the question. Could you please repeat, Mr. Calderon?
Who's gonna be able to monitor these cameras? Are we gonna have areas where these cameras are gonna be, or, I mean, the recordings and so forth?
Oh, yeah, the video cameras are being recorded using a software that is being recorded, and only certain users have access to it. Currently, right now, only the technology department has access, and for the cameras, in food services area, the director of food services have access to this camera. And upon request, then we can create a snapshot of our recording and make it available for any other users. That was your question, Mr. Calderon, who has access to the recordings of the camera?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Alvarado.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Will the installation of security surveillance cameras will be only in Calexico High School? Or is it gonna be in in each school?
Right now, this is only relevant or pertaining to the new park lot, Rolling Hill, and Circle Drive. Circle Drive. And we do have a security safety committee that we talk about the needs of cameras required. At least we want to talk about, that process that we undertake every year.
So that's part of our LCAP, the cameras, and like, similar to the playgrounds, we cannot purchase cameras for every site, we couldn't afford it. So what we did is, this one we can build into our LCAP because this is under safety, but it's above and beyond what is expected of a school. So what we did is we prioritized the need based on the incidents, fights, happen on campuses, incidents of theft and so forth. So the priority was Calexico High School and Aurora High School, so those are the two that we started. Then the next step was to go to the junior highs, but because we still have CHS 9 with a lot of incidents, our next step is to go and work on CHS 9 first, and then after that, we'll go to the junior high school. And that's before going to Enrique Camarena, just because, for right now, Enrique Camarena is mostly portables. And we want to make sure that we address the needs first of our most physical, permanent buildings, what will be CHS 9 and Willie Moreno Junior High School. And Willie Moreno does have a higher incident rate than Enrique Camarena, so that's how we prioritize those schools. And then after the junior highs, we'll go to the elementary. But that is the plan in our LCAP for the upcoming years.
Thank you.
So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously, thank you. L4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Patrol Services, Patrol Protective Services for security patrol services.
I move we approve.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Romero, there's a second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously.
It was for 1 year, correct?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Thank you. That was L4. L5, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Digital Scepter Corp. For 1 year firewall licenses.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously, 5-0. L6, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Janus Corporation for removal of asbestos mastic from the roof at the Wilton Building at Calexico High School.
So move.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously, 5-0. L7, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and School Site Solutions Incorporated for project management services of Measure Q projects.
I move we approve.
I second, but I have a question.
There's a motion and a second. Go ahead.
The question is, what is, in a nutshell, what is this company gonna do for us?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't hear that.
What is the responsibility of this company to manage,
So,
Measure Q?
There are two components. One is for project management, as for similar to Measure B. The other one is for all the, CE approval, the CEQA, the 505, all the stuff pertaining, certified that side because of the amount of new contractors, so that we can qualify for state funding. That is the biggest component, and as you know, pretty much every building that we are proposing, meets the criteria and qualification for the AB 300, the seismic mitigation program, which puts us right on top of the line for seismic mitigation funds under Prop 51. So that's, in essence, that's the two, that's what you're getting with this company for Measure Q.
Hey, Mr. Vega, just for the record, how much is it gonna cost us, and for how long is this contract?
It's similar to the previous contract. I think 3.5 of the total hard cost, which is way below the industry standard. Typically, and I don't know if Sam is there, but typically it's 5 to 8% what companies charge.
How much was it again?
3.5% of the total hard cost for projects. So depending on what the bid results come, so let's say that, let me do some quick math.
Yeah, well, okay, as long as we know the equation here. But it's for each,
3.5% of the total hard cost of project.
okay, for each project individually,
Yes.
correct? Yeah. All right. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
He seconded.
Yeah, I
Who?
second.
Who made the
I
first
did.
motion? Oh, you did, okay. So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously, thank you. 5-0. L8, agreement between Calexico Unified School Districts and Commercial and Industrial Roofing Company Incorporated for the replacement of the roof of the welding building at Calexico High School.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Romero.
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. 5-0. L9, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Western Environmental and Safety Technologies, LLC, for the monitoring and oversight services for the asbestos abatement project at the welding building at Calexico High School.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. L10, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Central States Inspection Services for the in-plant inspection services of border link Musco lightning poles fabrication.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Romero,
For the bordering, yes, I'll second.
second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously, 5-0. L11, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and I Think Biz Schools Assembly Incorporated for ASB presentation at Enrique Camarena Junior High School.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado.
Second.
Second by Mr. Romero. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. L12, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Mackin Book Company for data sharing services.
So moved.
I
Mo-
second, and I
mo-
have a question.
Motion by Mr. Romero, second by Ms. Magallanes, with comments or questions?
Question, what are we doing with the data and how is it working for us?
Very good question. I know Ms. Ramirez works very closely with this particular program. It's a complete digital resource management system specifically for our libraries and our books. So Ms. Ramirez, you want to expand a little on that one?
I have difficulty hearing, but I think you asked what kind of data sharing is done at the library?
Correct.
Eduardo can probably confirm, but I believe it has to do with the students, access to online, books.
That is correct, Ms. Yanis. This software is offer, I believe, at no cost to the district. It's offer great resources for that our librarians can use and the students can use. But as this application, as many that we have in the district, it requires for the students to log in with an account. And therefore, because we're sending the information of the login information, to log in for the students, we have to send the username and the name of the students so the students can log in and access the resources. And we have a requirement that we have to have an agreement with the company so they can protect the data and they don't share it with third-party companies. And we're sharing the name and the username of the students with this company.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. So there's a motion on the floor and a second. If no more questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, 5-0. L13, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and regions of the University of California at Davis to pilot Snap the Gap program for the expanded learning program.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. L14, Memorandum of Understanding between Calexico Unified School District and the Imperial County Office of Education for professional development to ASTs on a training the trainer model on designated integrated ELD.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Where does the money come from? From what fund?
So this particular funding for this training it's from Title I, and it's specifically for, in this case, professional development. And in this case, it will target our ELD students, and so it's specifically targeted federal money, Title I.
Is there in-house, I guess, professionals that can be able to give this professional development?
Right. So this is a trainer of trainers model. So our staff gets trained, and then they go out and train other staff members.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just for the record, Ms. Magallanes, this board has been really precise when they've asked Mr. Gonzalez and his assistant superintendents in regards of trainings like this. Instead of us sending all of us out there, what we've asked Carlos and company is to bring somebody to train a couple of our people, and then those people can train the whole staff in Calexico Unified. That's what we try to do.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. And Carlos, I believe that Imperial County Office of Education does a good job in training our people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're very
they
pleased
do.
with them.
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, 5-0. Adoption of L15, adoption of job description, Executive Director of Facilities Planning and Maintenance of Operations.
So
I
moved.
motion to approve. I have a question.
Yeah, so I have a question also, so I'll second.
Okay, so,
Oh,
Mr.
No,
Romero.
I'll let them take
Yeah.
it. I think Lencho might have made it, or?
Okay, so Mr. Calderon made the motion, second by Mr. Alvarado, with a question and comments?
yeah, what were the questions or the changes that the personnel board made?
Yeah, so there's, oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, if you look on there, they're in, purple.
Hmm.
I can't open my notes, that's all I was gonna ask.
Oh, sorry, okay, I can just, I can read them to
Can
you
you
real quick.
open this?
Yeah,
Is that all right? So under ability to, the Personnel Commission wanted to add supervise and evaluate the performance of assigned personnel, which is totally appropriate.
mhm.
Under education and experience, they wanted to add at least 3 of the 4 years required experience needs to be at a supervisory level in any of the following disciplines: facilities
Mhm.
construction, maintenance and operations, contract administration, finance or accounting, pupil transportation, or warehouse administration.
Yeah.
So they're defining a little bit more narrowly the teaching experience. And then the last one, under physical demands, they wanted to add mobility on uneven terrain.
Yeah,
On the education part, nothing changed, correct?
nothing changed.
Just the part I read about.
Okay.
Three of the 4 years required experience.
Graduation from a regional accredited college or university with a bachelor's degree in business administration, management, or public administration, engineering, facilities planning, or construction management. 4 years of increasingly responsible experience in 3 or more of the following disciplines: facilities, construction, maintenance of operations, contract administration, finance or accounting, pupil transportation, or warehouse administration. There's no substitution for education, so
All right.
I read it.
Okay. That was just my question.
Okay.
I motion.
I
So
made the
there's a
second.
motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Magallanes?
Aye.
Oh, our motion passes unanimously 5-0. Single plan, L16, single plan for student achievement, SPSA, for the 2020-2021 for, school year, it should read, for Bland Charles Elementary School, Cesar Chavez Elementary School, Dual Elementary School, Jefferson Elementary School, Kennedy Gardens Elementary School, Mains Elementary School, Rockwood Elementary School, Enrique Camarena Junior High School, and Calexico High School.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. Is this okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. L17, first reading of revised board policy and administrative regulation 1312.3, uniform complaint procedures. Carlos, what changes have we done to?
Yeah, so this one, again, through Gamut, through CSBA,
Mhm.
they make recommendations. Anytime there's a change in the legal language, then we're given the language in order to bring it to the board and update. So this one, there's an update that was made in a policy regarding adding medical conditions as characteristic that is protected from discrimination to reflect, in this case, the new law, which is SB 75 that was passed in 2019, which specifically extends the use of the uniform complaint procedure. So now that it's law, we need to bring it to the board to update the board policy.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alvarado, second by Calderon. Have no more questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. L18, second reading of revised board policy 5146, married, pregnant, parenting students.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. L19, second reading of new board policy 4033, lactation accommodation.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado,
Second.
second by Mr. Romero. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. L20, resolution authorizing contract for purchase Apple. Resolution authorizing contract for purchase Apple technology hardware, software, and related services and equipment. Piggyback statute. Carlos, what is this?
Yeah, so this is specifically for 125 MacBook Airs that we're purchasing, specifically for Aurora, in addition of MacBooks that we're distributing as part of the one-to-one. And the funding for this is part of the CARES Act, the Elementary and Secondary School Elementary Relief Fund. So again, part of what Maribel was talking to the board in regards to the technology that we've been purchasing. This is part of it to meet the one-to-one student ratio when it comes to technology.
Thank you,
I
Carlos.
motion to approve, and I do have just one comment. We do have a running inventory of all these computers that we're buying and so forth. correct?
Absolutely. Not only that, but parents have to sign off as well, so everything's very well documented.
Okay. I know that we, initially, for the pilot program, we had issued some out, and then when the COVID hit, we gave another, have we picked up those other for the pilot programs?
So-
The
so-
older computers?
Right, some of those are coming back already, but what we wanted to do is make sure that everybody had the MacBook or the iPads.
Mhm.
Some of them are still being distributed, but we wanted to make sure that those were in place before we picked them all up. But we have been collecting the Google Chromebooks as well already.
Yeah, because I mean, this is gonna put us, what, on a year now?
Mhm.
So I'd like to see if we can pick them up, because everybody should have a Mac or an iPad by now,
And new
correct?
ones,
Mhm.
Yeah, new.
and new ones.
But
Absolutely.
the old ones are still out there
That's-
from the
yeah, yeah.
pilot programs.
I know Cesar Chavez is gonna start distributing theirs sometime, later this month, correct?
January, correct? Mhm.
All right, I motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor.
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Alvarado. If no more questions, all those in,
Resolution.
it's a resolution, so, Ms. Magallanes? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarado, yes?
Yes.
Yes, and I, yes. Resolution passes 5-0. L21, resolution authorizing the California School Finance Authority issuing the tax and revenue anticipation notes, also known as trans.
I move we approve.
Second.
Thank you. It's a resolution. Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
Calderon?
Yes.
Alvarado, yes.
Yes.
Romero, yes, and I, yes. Resolution passes 5-0. L22,
We recommend that the board approves the certificated employment report as submitted.
So moved.
there's a
Second.
motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. L23, classified employment report.
So we recommend that the board approve the classified employment report as submitted with the following change. That in regards to Mr. Alejo Cortez, custodian at Cesar Chavez, that he be reinstated as of December 15, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Do we need to recommend to close session? No. We don't need to recommend to close session.
I move to close.
Announcement of actions taken in closed session, there were none. And item P, adjournment.
So
I
moved.
motion to.
There's a motion by Mr. Alvarado and a second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, and good night.
Good night. Yeah.